Don't worry, I've got this!
Welcome back to another My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2 breakdown, this time going over Episode 9 titled Farewell Party. Of course, we're going to be breaking down the episode, going over all of the hidden Easter eggs and references, as well as the entire season, so be sure to Detroit, smash that like button, and subscribe to the Kiroki channel so that you won't miss any My Hero Academia Vigilantes breakdowns. Now, the episode begins with a bit of a time jump to Christmas Eve, as Koichi and Pop are rushing to make their way to a meeting for Narufest. They run into Captain Celebrity and Makoto, and they hitch a ride with the hero. At the meeting, they are surprised that Cap isn't all that affected by the cold weather, and Chris reveals that the aerodynamic field that surrounds his whole body isn't what pushes him forward while flying. It actually protects him from heat, cold, and physical harm, and if he expands that force field, he can cover a person who happens to be along for a ride, whether they are being saved or just being flown away by him. Makoto tells Koichi to keep what he heard to himself because they don't want the ins and outs of Captain Celebrity's quirk going public and people learning about his potential weaknesses and strengths. Which I love that in the world of My Hero Academia, where pretty much almost everything about a pro hero is known to the public, erasing the need for a secret identity. Well, unless you're All Might, there still are some things that need to remain a secret from the public. The entire group all begin their Christmas party celebration, having a ton of fun, and after the party we learn that Cap will be heading home by next year, as all of the lawsuits and restraining orders he had in the US are going to be settled within the next 6 months, since most of them amounted to entrapment via honey traps and paparazzi. On top of that, Cap is going to be a father and is scheduled to be back in the US next month for when his wife gives birth to their child. Turns out his wife was hiding her pregnancy from him since he wasn't in the right place in his life to raise a child, and she was originally going to raise the child alone, but thanks to Makoto and her work with Cap, she changed her mind and wants him to be there. And this has Cap super excited at the thought of being a father. They send the little sisters in a taxi to their home, and seeing them, Cap thinks it would be cool to have 3 kids of his own. Suddenly, a bomber villain flies overhead past the heroes and grabs the taxi that the little sisters are in and flies them in the air. Captain Celebrity goes after them, and as he reaches the taxi, number 6, watching from a distance, activates the bomber villain to explode. A massive explosion lights up the sky as Cap is seen falling out of the sky, and he took a massive amount of damage from the explosion, but he managed to save all 3 of the little girls thanks to him shielding them with his aerodynamic field. They all rush over to Cap's side, and Cap doesn't like that they are all recording him when he doesn't look his best, as the explosion really messed him up. Makoto laughs and tells Cap that this is the best that he's ever looked, as he has never looked more heroic than ever. On a rooftop, number 6 notes how they can make good use of the exploding bomber villains due to their ability to fly and explode on command, and they have the possibility to be able to defeat Captain Celebrity. Analyzing Captain Celebrity's save, he notices that CC had thrown up a barrier just as the explosion went off, directing most of the barrier towards the kids, leaving him defenseless. Realizing that the barrier is what makes CC so durable, number 6 now has his eyes set on taking down Cap, revealing that the villain factory has created a load of flying bombers, all being held in a warehouse. Now, the bomber villain in its design is inspired by Kezu from Monster Hunter, as well as the mass production Evangelion models from Neon Genesis Evangelion. On top of that, number 6 revealing that multiple bomber villains had been produced by the villain factory lets us know that these are early iterations and models of the Nomu, as they possess more than one quirk and only follow the direction of number 6, which is exactly how the USJ Nomu functioned in the beginning of My Hero Academia. A few days later, we head over to Might Tower as we see All Might and Tsukauchi having a meeting in the new year. Tsukauchi lets All Might know that they won't be able to meet much anymore, as they had just got some valuable information, the information that of course came from Knuckle Duster, and their investigation in the drug case is going to be moving ahead at full speed. speed. All Might is worried and once again offers his help, and we see All Might's awful attempt at hiding his identity in muscle form, but is once again rejected by Sukauchi. We then switch over to Sukauchi meeting with Aizawa, where Aizawa hands him a drive containing data on the Naruhata Vigilantes. Turns out a week prior, Pop and Koichi handed over footage and pictures of their vigilante work over to Midnight and Aizawa, while also trying to play dumb over the fact that the vigilantes in the files aren't them. Midnight points out that all of their actions in the files counts as self-defense and citizens' arrests, of course not counting the beatings done by Knuckle Duster. Their data will help them with the case against number 6, and Midnight and Aizawa, considering Pop and Koichi to be friends, look the other way and keep their identities a secret from the police, with Aizawa straight up lying to Sukauchi on not knowing the true identities of the Crawler and Popstep. After this, we see that Cap has made an announcement to the public on his inevitable return back to the United States, and that the video featuring his big save had passed 100 million views, with some of the comments being super disrespectful to the GOAT All Might, saying that All Might needs to watch his back. Makoto announces that at the end of March, they will be holding a farewell party for Cap at the Tokyo Sky Egg, making it a huge event with the theme being cooperation between the heroes of Japan and the US. Which is actually crazy to think about, because in the future the US and the rest of the world will abandon Japan, leaving them to fight all for one in the league all by themselves. Though I will say the US were the first ones to make a move to actually help Japan in the end. On top of that, Makoto announces that the Narufest gang will be performing at the event in front of 50,000 people. Despite Cap loving their regular routine, the gang wants to make this extra special for him, and they begin to train for the big event. The event is being promoted heavily, and in the meantime, Makoto goes around gathering heroes to show up at the party, and we get loads of cameo appearances from pro heroes like Ingenium Midnight, Present Mike Aizawa, Best Genius, Ryukyu, Mirko, Uwabami, Edshot, Snipe, Gang Orca, Death Arms, Manual, the Wild Wild Pussycats, and Wash, who all agree to show up, or at least show up when they can. Endeavor also makes a big cameo appearance in the episode, but he is rejecting the offer to appear at Captain Celebrity's farewell party. At home, Makoto, still trying to make the lineup of heroes great for Cap, sees Sukauchi and tries to charm her way into getting a connection with someone from All Might's agency from him, but he flats out denies her request. Now, this episode adapted 2 chapters, them being chapters 46 and 47. This was a great episode, setting up the events to come during the Sky Egg arc, and putting Captain Celebrity under a new light of just being an overly nice hero who pretty much sets himself up for failure. Let me know your thoughts on the 9th episode of My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2. Let me know everything in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button, and if you are new to the Kidoki channel, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss any My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2 breakdowns. With that said, I'll see you all in the next one.